What's going on, guys? Your boy HQ420 here. Welcome y'all back. We've got a hybrid episode. We got a little bit of Beyond the Cube. We got a little bit of Showtime with the Cube. And we got a whole lot of me, HQ420, and the powerful one, Corey Hughes, as always, the co-host. Corey, are you well tonight?
Yeah, I'm a little tired. My eyes hurt because I've been doing so much fucking research. I've been busy as hell this week on my Kennedy research again. So,
okay, is this for the update?
You know, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
But see, I found myself completely sidetracked from everything I planned to write about in the future because I got wrapped up in the work of John Armstrong, who determined that from the time of about 1947, there were two Lee Harvey Oswalds, two children named Lee Harvey Oswald being raised by two mothers of the same name who lived very close to each other and shadowed each other all the way through about 1959. So I've been going through his work meticulously, and he'll reference a document. I'll go pull the original documents and see if what he's saying is accurate. And thus far, everything he said is accurate. And I have found dozens and dozens of conflicting pieces of data going back to Oswald's address record, his school records. There's multiple times, 4 to 5 times, when you've got provable Oswald in 2 different schools or in the same school in 2 different grades in 2 different classes. Then that continues to the Marines, where he's clearly in 2 different radar schools, 2 different basic electronics schools, 2 different sets of associates. It's wild as hell. So, but in going over all the dates and stuff, it's pretty wild. Don't mean to sidetrack the show, but the first anomalies I start to find are in 1946. Duplicate addresses in 1946. And so what does that mean? That's before the CIA was even around. Right? So that means that whatever shenanigans was going on was probably naval intelligence, and it was probably going on as a holdover post-war, because they're the only organization intelligence-wise that really got left in place. Everything else got revamped in 1947, but naval intelligence persisted this whole time. And I found my first anomalies going back to 46, which is weird as hell. So, but there's all kinds of weird stuff with the family going back to the 1930s. So that's what I've been spending all my time on. But it's been great. It's been great. It's probably going to be an extended chapter in some future book, but I don't know where to.
Oh, you don't know where to put it yet. Corey?
You got me? I'm here.
There we go. Okay. All right.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah, blacked out. So I thought maybe you start talking about JFK, Lee Harvey Oswald, 2 of them, and it's like, oh no, we got to come take them out. All right.
So
we got to kill the feed.
I'm really close to being able to just completely verify Armstrong's work, because the people have pretty much disregarded it. People look at him like he's kind of a clown and his work is outlandish, and it is outlandish, but it's completely accurate. He's got a lot of things wrong, but with such a volume of material, it's easy to get things wrong, you know?
Yeah. What's the likelihood of 2 people being named Lee Harvey Oswald? And you said they were born same year?
Well, that's the thing we don't know. One of them is real. And the other one is a cover. The other one is It is suspected that the other one was plucked from some Eastern Bloc country, because after World War II, there were like hundreds of thousands of orphans with no parents who could easily be scooped up for fucking nefarious means, right? So people have analyzed Oswald's speech patterns and his writing, and some have concluded that English was a second language for him, meaning he was probably raised speaking Russian, right? And so this would kind of explain why he struggled in school with English. It would explain a lot of stuff, and it would explain how he was fluent in Russian when he never took a fucking Russian course in his life. So there's all kinds of shenanigans. And then when you start getting into details, you find Oswald allegedly gets out of the Marines and in September of 59, and then within a couple days gets on a boat, goes to Finland and France and Soviet Union. I found documents where his brother was interviewed, said that he got back and stayed in Fort Worth for a couple of months before he left, right? So we've got, clearly the records are fucking wrong. Everything's wrong. Everything about Kennedy is wrong. And the more I study it, the less I seem to know, because it is it shatters everything I think I understand about history, right? The CIA's predecessor was the OSS, But the OSS was all about the Nazis. They didn't really give a shit about nothing except for the Nazis. So after the OSS dissolves, you have 2-year gap, and then you have in 47, you have the CIA come around. But this weird Oswald shit starts going back way before that. And which means the only intelligence agency that's been around that long, that's that powerful, that could do stuff like this and kind of stay off the radar of the FBI and all the other agencies is naval intelligence. Like from when you read about naval intelligence, it seems like they make the CIA look like nothing. You know what I mean? But who the hell knows? Okay. The more I study it, the more I go crazy. For sure.
Okay. So it's it is an intricate web, isn't that what they call it?
Oh God, it's a tangled skein for sure.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, but I mean, nobody really knows how long it actually goes back, how many generations,
because I don't know anything about about the intelligence world or spies prior to 1941, really. But the spy game goes back to like the revolution. So Army intelligence used to handle the spy stuff and a bunch of other organizations that aren't around today. But they were never centralized. Like they never had full authority to get all the info, right? That didn't happen until the CIA came around. But it doesn't seem like the CIA works for America. And hopefully Trump's going to fix that.
Okay. So do you think the CIA was kind of like what's that movie, The Kingsman? Except it's, a little bit different. Of course, it's out in the open. The Kingsman was kind of supposed to be like ultra underground type stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So I don't know if anything like that or Mission Impossible ever really goes down.
Okay. Okay.
But for sure, the CIA got a huge portion of their their training, their policies, how they did shit from the British. And the British had been doing organized intelligence since like the 1920s and probably before that, but in a lesser form. So basically when we started in 47 with the CIA, turnkey, they already had plugged into other networks around the world. And so they had all kinds of stuff already by the time they signed the paper and formed CIA, they already had operations in action, right? And I have to assume that this Oswald operation was one of those things that arose post-war, after 45, right, when the war ended, but then prior to 46, when the first address anomalies start to occur. Because we have them living in we have a clear-cut record of where she lived in what years, Marguerite Oswald, his mother, right? But then when you start to dig into the records, John Armstrong uncovered this bitch who was broke all the time, owned multiple rental properties, had alimony coming in, had child support coming in, had a job, and she kept complaining she was so broke she had to send her kids off to the orphanage. So something's going on there. And there's times she would buy a house and not move in for like a year and a half. Then there's other times that she owned 2 houses and wasn't living there and complaining how poor she was. So when you start to analyze the address record alone of Oswald's mother, it's clear that there's some sort of shenanigans going on. And then there's a time between 56 and 58 where you literally have them reported as living at 4 addresses simultaneously. And there's witnesses who saw them at all these addresses. And it's like, what the fuck? I rented this apartment to them for a year. When I have another witness says they rented another apartment for a year at the same time. There's a time when there's 4 apartments being rented simultaneously by Oswald's mother. And she's complaining she's broke. It's fucking crazy. So, but I determined this has nothing to do with the assassination. Oswald was part of some long plot way before the assassination. And they just repurposed him, I think, to tie up loose ends. But in doing so, they opened Pandora's box with all the fucking documents and stuff, because all the truth is in there. You just got to read, the 5 million pages of documents that it's hidden in.
Okay, so this is a little bit extra to finish destroying your brain, right?
Oh yeah,
this will finish it off.
I've been reading for like 8 hours today. I put in at least 6-7 hours yesterday, at least as much time the day before that, just trying to figure out these fucking addresses. It's been wild. It's been a hell of a ride.
Oh, well, damn. Well. Speaking of government, of course, we know 47th president-elect Donald Trump has started to make some cabinet choices. Okay, and I see a whole lot of people scream neocon. I see a whole lot of neocon rhetoric flinging around.
So let me just clarify what a neocon is.
All right.
So a neocon is not a Republican, if you ask me. A neocon is a neoconservative, is what the term means. However, all they really are American, usually non-Jewish Zionists. That's all neocons are. They are American, usually Catholic Zionists or Christian Zionists. That's what a neocon is. And unfortunately, the entire Bush Jr. administration was all neocons. And at the time, but really what that meant was that it was just purely a Zionist government with a veil over it. And the term neocon, I don't know, really applies today anymore because it's strictly for foreign policy. And honestly, foreign policy just means Israel. That's it. I mean, so
that is the policy.
That is the policy. And here's the thing. Even I saw this guy do a breakdown of this and about people complaining about all of them being neocons. And he's like, well, in regards to Israel, all of them are pro-Israel. There's not a single one of them who isn't. Nobody in Congress is not pro-Israel. And so it doesn't matter if they're neocons or not, because it's all about Israel anyway. And all of them are pro-Israel. And so what the big question is Trump going to stop Netanyahu from murdering all the Palestinians? I mean, it's obvious what's going on here. And if you know anything about history, you know that this has nothing to do with defending themselves. It has to do with the Greater Israel Project, which I can't believe they're openly talking about publicly now, because it was a conspiracy theory for fucking decades.
Right.
So the Greater Israel Project is the original envisionment of what they believe the original state of Israel looked like in the biblical days. But these fucking idiots are the descendants of inbred European converts. They have no connection to the original Israel, which actually stretched from the Sahara all the way to fucking Iran. It was a general term for a region. It had nothing to do with a specific location. I fucking hate Israel. Like, they need to go as a country. They never should have existed. They're the proof that the Jewish conspiracy is real. But yeah, as far as Trump's picks go, they're all pro-Israel.
Yeah. Let me go through them. Yeah, let me go through them. Here's what we got so far. Okay, we've got White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles.
I know nothing about this woman, but the fact
I don't
that
know
she's a woman,
Susie Wiles. Yeah,
I think that's an interesting pick. She must be tough.
I think she's the first. Is that right? First Chief of Staff,
first
woman.
Female.
Yeah. So hey, so much for Trump hating women. You know what I'm saying? That was the whole thing, misogyny, all that good jazz, you know.
And as long as he puts what's his name, Byron Donalds, is that his name? Congressman Byron. As long as he puts him somewhere, then he can check the blacks off the list that he put one.
Yeah, he need him one Negro now. Don't forget the Negroes now. I mean, because they're gonna come for you.
And we got Hispanic and Marco Rubio.
Marco Rubio. Now this is the one where people were losing their mind, like super duper over the top neocon. The whole world's over. That's the conservative talking landscape. So the people who lean more conservative.
And I heard someone talk about this earlier. He's going to be the counterpart to someone like Sergei Lavrov from Russia. You know who Sergei Lavrov is? He's the foreign, diplomat for Russia, and he is incredible at what he does. He's very serious at what he does. And I don't think there's anybody really, other than maybe the Trump's border czar guy, who could sit down and hold a serious conversation with Lavrov. Lavrov is like an adult compared to all the children that Trump would send to him. So for him to put Marco Rubio in there, I just think back, was it Rubio who had the water incident where he was drinking the water all silly?
I believe so.
Okay. Yeah. Can you see that fucking guy talking to the most serious foreign diplomat in the world? No, not at all. He's kind of a chump, in my opinion, and not nearly mature enough to handle that kind of situation. But we'll see. I mean, it was I don't know.
I'm trying. That's the one where people. That's the one where people are losing their minds.
Well, like
they're saying that he's as bad as Cheney. They said he might as well put Cheney in there.
Well, he's not a leader. He's not a guy who makes decisions and does things rogue. He would be loyal to Trump, and that's really all that matters. And I think that's what Trump picked. He picked people who are going to be loyal to him.
Right. Okay. So we're down with that. Let's see. So Attorney General Matt Gaetz. A whole lot of people were clapping for this particular pick.
I think that's great, but he would be vicious. He'd be rabid. He would totally go after the last administration. I don't have a problem with that. I think that he'd be in the right. Here's one thing that gets me. Everyone's talking about Trump has to have all these people go before the Senate confirmation. And they're saying he's not going to pass a Senate confirmation. Well, do you think Trump's going to take no for an answer?
Yeah, that is what I've seen people saying. They're like, he's probably not going to be able to get all these nominees through.
Really? Then why doesn't he just wait till the next session and then get them through? He can appoint them as acting, right? Once he gets in there, he can appoint them as acting. And then he can have them just put through by his own Senate because he has the Senate, the vast majority of the Senate next term and the House. So he can just force these through. Matt Gaetz, I have a feeling he's going to get it because he's going to be like, this is who I want and this is who's going in. And if you don't like it, pound sand. I think he's going to pull some shit like that.
Right. Well, they said that Gaetz is probably the least paid off
Gaetz
Republican voice.
He's a believer. That motherfucker is a patriot. I mean, he truly believes the words that come out of his mouth. So, but I think he would be harsh on liberal stuff. Like, if Trump were to pass a rule that you can't have like gay flags in classrooms, like Matt Gaetz would prosecute everybody who did. You know what I mean? Like he wouldn't fuck around. He would take something petty like that and throw you in jail over it. So some would say that's a good thing, and some would say it's not. So we have to see.
Man said he would take and throw your ass right in jail. Man said, I'm coming for your ass today. All right. I'm dropping what I'm doing. Let's see. So we got Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche. I don't know him. Or Blanchet. We've got HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., which people are losing their mind about him potentially removing fluoride from the water.
Well, here's the thing. Like every time a president's ever been goddamn elected, no matter who the fuck it is, even Obama, when he was supposed to be the change candidate, they get in there, they appoint people to their positions. And then like 6 months later, you're supposed to have like an opinion on how they're doing. And I never did. I'm like, nothing's changed. Like it's been the same shit. No matter who the fuck's in this, the government doesn't ever seem to change. There's nothing changing. And it seems like things might actually change now. It seems like Trump and his people might actually change some shit. I hope it just changes the IRS stuff. I hope I don't get arrested anytime soon for not paying my taxes. So I hope
you ain't the only one that hopes that. Okay, I hope it as well.
There's like millions of people out there who are like haven't paid taxes, like for real. So that's what I hide in the sea of anonymity.
Well, they usually go after people who make millions of dollars, though. That's what people don't like. Like you usually need to have like rental properties and businesses that make like millions of dollars or at least hundreds of thousands of dollars every year. And then when they see that you didn't put your shit in, and they're like, yeah, I'm going to have to come check your ass out because I know you hide money. No doubt about it. Okay. That's the way that shit works. So we got that. Some folks were a little ticked off about Elsie Stefanik. Is she
I don't know too much about her.
Yeah, I don't either. But folks were kind of giving her the same thing with Marco Rubio, neocon. Might as well get Cheney back in there. But I don't know nothing about her myself. But they were cutting about that. Borders are Tom Homan. Now he's ruthless. You want to talk about somebody that's ruthless? That's Tom Homan. Hold on, let me.
You saw that interview? You gonna queue up that interview?
I got one. I got a couple things right here. Hold on, let me get this. It's some good stuff. Here we go. Let's share this. Yeah, this is one of them right here.
Trump, he was suing the sanctuary cities, DOJ suing the sanctuary cities, pulling federal funds. Of course, day one, when Joe Biden came in office, he stopped that lawsuit. So that has to be put back in place. And look, I've seen some of these Democratic governors say they're going to stand in the way. They're going to make it hard for us. Well, a suggestion: if you're not going to help us, get the hell out of the way, because we're going to do it. So if we can't get assistance from New York City, and we may have to double the number of agents we send to New York City, because we're going to do the job. We're going to do the job without you or with you. But it's much easier to arrest a bad guy. Like I just said, we're concentrating on public safety threats of human and national security threats. Right. It's much easier to arrest a bad guy in the jail. Give us access to Rikers Island that we've been kicked out of. Let us get the bad guy in the jail. It's safer for the alien. It's safer for the officer. It's safer for the community. But if you're going to release Trump.
So, yeah, that's a little bit of him. One of my favorite ones is when he was on 60 Minutes. And it was like, so what do you say about, deporting somebody's parents and leaving the kids here? what it's going to do to the families. He's like, families can be deported together. It's you ain't got to leave your kids behind. I can send their ass with you.
So let me put this in perspective. They're saying they want to start with the criminals, the ones who've already been convicted of stuff, the ones who are already set to be deported, who haven't been deported. You can start
I think
with
there's 1.2 million.
Correct.
That should be deported right now that haven't been.
Right. Jesus Christ. If they start with that, they won't even get a fraction of the way through that in 4 years. How many people do you think they can deport? I mean, we're fucked as far as these migrants go. All they can do.
Oh yeah, there was too many came in at one time during these last 4 years.
Create conditions in America that force them to want to leave. That's all we can do. They can pass laws that, you can't employ these people. They can't get jobs. They can go none of that shit. And if they allow individual states to deport, which like Texas has been fighting the federal government in court over this, like if Texas can arrest an illegal alien and then deport them themselves, that would be great. But they can't do that because it's a federal thing. So that's what has to happen also. Every state needs to have laws that if you're there illegally, they can deport you, no questions asked.
Well, somebody told me that, I think it was one of the shows that, these people could be going and picking up their dry cleaning from the dry cleaner, these illegal immigrants. I'm like, I don't really think of somebody who just jumped over the border going and get their suit pressed, but whatever. He said, or it could be somebody that's cleaning your teeth tomorrow that they deport. I'm like, what? A dental hygienist? I mean, I don't think they just randomly hiring, illegals.
Well, here's what I'm come over the border. About. They're trying to pass a law here, and they're probably going to pass it in Colorado that allows the Denver Police Department to hire illegal aliens. I'm like, what? Yeah. Or non-U.S. citizens, I should say. You can be a non-U.S. citizen and still get a job as a cop. Yeah. Like, motherfucker, the first time somebody shows up to talk to me with an accent, you can get the fuck out of Dodge. Motherfucker, your accent better be like Boston or New York. Not fucking.
Man, they'd be showing up talking Spanish to your ass.
What was I watching? I was watching something the other day, maybe a YouTube video, and it had a cop with an accent. And I'm like, what the fuck? Who the fuck has an accent? Get the fuck out of here, you goddamn foreigner. Like, seriously. Like it's ridiculous. I would not respect the authority of a fucking foreigner as a cop in my area, period.
Oh, but okay. So we got Defense Secretary. We got Pete Hegseth, which I believe he actually served. Pete Hegseth did. So a lot of people are actually liking that particular pick. Veterans Affairs, which I don't think really matters. Doug Collins. We got the National Security Advisor, Michael Waltz. If any of these ring a bell, you can stop me. If any of them ring a bell. White House Counsel, William McGinley. Solicitor General. I don't even know what he's supposed to do. Dean Sauer. Okay, we got a Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem. So that means she'll be stepping down from her governorship. I guess it'll be her time to actually step out of that. So Kristi Noem. Okay. So CIA Director John Ratcliffe. What you know about that, Corey?
I don't know nothing about the guy. I know that he was really, really hard on Christopher Wray and the intelligence apparatus. And he had some sort of intelligence position before. So, but here's the deal. The CIA is so entrenched in everything, you wouldn't fucking believe it. Let me give you an example. So after the Bureau of Narcotics and Dangerous Drugs fell apart, I believe this is in 1967, maybe later, but there was this organization that was kind of like a DEA before the DEA. Well, they dissolve that and the DEA forms. And what happens immediately with the DEA? Immediately, they're infiltrated by the CIA. And the CIA takes all the DEA's observations and stuff that they were doing, because the CIA controls the drug trade. That's fact. They bring in the heroin, they bring in the cocaine, they bring in the fucking methamphetamine, they bring in everything, okay? And so they co-opted the DEA from the start. And we know this because of Doug Valentine's books, Strength of the Wolf and Strength of the Pack. And so the CIA took over the whole department of the DEA, right? So I have no doubts that in the modern era, the entire State Department is run by the CIA, not the other way around. And so you get a new director in there, and I don't know how you detangle all this mess the CIA has created. I just don't get it. unless you just fire every single person and burn everybody in the field and start over.
Okay.
I don't see any other way to do it. To just shut down 100% of what you got going on. But then they'll be like, well, you can't shut this down because this is connected to this and we have to know this for national security. So that's got to stay. Mm-hmm. And then we got this over here and this is connected over here. And yeah, we've been murdering people over here, but we got to keep murdering these people over here because that enforces this over here, right?
It's righteous murdering, Corey.
Right. So
murdering for a righteous cause.
The CIA has murdered more people than the Nazis ever fucking murdered in the 6 years of World War II. So
yeah, but it's not on record though. A lot of their killings.
You're correct. It's not on record. I would say the CIA. Well, they were up to 10 million illegal kills by the time the Gulf War rolled around in 1991. So they're probably looking at 20 million dead, 30 million dead at the hands of the CIA in illegal wars that you and I have probably never heard of.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, hey, racking up a body count. You know what I'm saying? As the kids say. So we got that. Okay, so this is the one that you might have had a little issue with. Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard.
Okay,
go ahead and give me a breakdown why you got an issue with this.
All right, so Tulsi Gabbard, if you listen to her, she does this. She puts her finger up and sees where the wind's blowing, and that's what she discusses. There was an episode of Rogan that she was on that I kept. Her positions were so stupid. And she didn't understand. It was obvious she didn't understand what she was talking about. She was talking about Russia and how Russia shouldn't have invaded Ukraine and how Putin backed himself into a corner. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Do you even have a fucking clue what's going on in the world today? Because she didn't have a fucking clue. And I realized that the answer she was giving, they were all nondescript. They were all answers that could go either way. You know what I mean? On how to handle something. So, but let me show you this. I'm going to share a screen real quick because I don't know why nobody's talking about this. And this is the most important thing as far as Tulsi Gabbard goes. We're going to look at her fucking Wikipedia page. And
I thought we were going to bring her see a booty pic.
No, fuck her. And that gray streak in her hair, I think, is fake. So here we go. On October 12th, 2015, she was promoted from the rank of captain to major at a ceremony of the National Memorial Cemetery of the Pacific. She continued to serve as a major in the Hawaii Army National Guard till her transfer to the 351st Civil Affairs Command. I believe that was the office formerly run by Michael Aquino, the well-known Satanist of the government of years past. A California-based United States Army Reserve unit assigned to the United States Army Civil Affairs and Psychological Operations Command in June 2020. Okay, Psychological Operations Command.
Mm-hmm.
That's psychological warfare. That is psych warfare. She is, I think she's a grifter. I think she is an intelligence operative. Everything out of her mouth is so fucking nondescript. It can go either way. So she can hop on with any team. She is a fucking wolf in sheep's clothing and she should not be included in anything, especially Director of National and fucking Intelligence. I have no doubts she's what they called a State Department Democrat. If you go back to 2016, I believe, and you look at how many Democrats were running in 2016, or maybe it was 2012. One of those two. When you look at all the Democrats that were running, 44% of them had prior jobs at the State Department, aka the CIA. So she was one of them. I have no doubts that she is CIA connected and a fucking plant. So fuck her to death. If you were to take a job working for something called Psychological Operations Command and think that everyone's going to look at that and say, that's okay, you have no self-reflection. So if you don't have any self-reflection, you should be disqualified for that reason alone. What they should have done was just sheep dipped her. If they're going to do that, they should just sheep dip her. And sheep dipping is when you fucking, they say that you resigned. They say that you did this. They, whatever reason you leave the organization you're in, but then it's kept a note in a secret file somewhere that you're still really working for the agency. And that when you come back, you'll be given back pay and all this stuff. This has happened numerous times. It's well documented with the Soviets. We sheep dipped a number of CIA agents and then made them consular diplomats at various agencies in the Soviet Union, right? So they could get a CIA person into the Soviet Union, and that's how they would do it. They would sheep dip it, so the official records, when it gets pulled by the Soviets, would show that they left, working for this group and are now working. And that's what they did with Timothy McVeigh. Timothy McVeigh was in the Army, probably as recruited by the CIA. He allegedly drops out of that and then is involved in Oklahoma City. He was sheep dipped for sure. Oswald was sheep dipped. So Yeah, sheep dipping is a real thing, and they should have just sheep dipped her instead of putting her in a place called Psychological Operations Command. They just think we're fucking stupid.
Well, I mean, that's fair enough. I ain't gonna take it away from you, Corey. I mean, they got this thing running around on Twitter right now. They were showing her, in her training sequence. She was doing her training, and the caption said she's an absolute unit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, she was doing okay. Looked like she was carrying like 5-pound weights or whatever. But she loaded the gun, shot it. I was like, okay. I mean, she might have been in the field a time or two. I don't know if in the actual combat, maybe, potentially. But the Pete Hegseth guy said that we need to get women out of combat completely. What do you think about that? I mean, I don't know. They said they want to be equal. So, but it does compromise. It does compromise combat because men usually try to protect women, overly protect them.
Yeah, that could be an issue. I mean, it's honestly, the military is not a place for social experiments. It's a place that you're supposed to send people in to murder other people and not get killed in exchange. So the idea that there should be any kind of fucking social equity bullshit going on in the military is just nonsense. So the problem with the military is that currently, I think this is our problem. Like, it's a volunteer army, right? There's no draft. Right. They can't just pull you in. And
I think they still draft. They can still draft, can't they?
I think in a pinch they could, but I mean, honestly, at this point in time, I think you'd have a lot of people just go, "Fuck you! I dare you to come get me." So I mean,
because they're going to draft. They're going to draft Gen Z. Like, we're out of it. So you're Gen X technically.
Yeah.
I'm millennial, so I'm too old. So I'm 38, so I'm too old.
They would snatch up everybody 17 to 25.
Yeah. So that would be Gen Z. Whew. A lot of them are crashing out, just because they got to go to work on Monday. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
there was a time when people were gung-ho to go to the military, even though it was because they were propagandized. Like before World War II, before we got involved with World War II, nobody was interested in war. They polled Americans, and 9 out of 10 Americans were like, we're not interested in going to another war. There was just no sentiment for it. But they hired a number of Hollywood producers to make propaganda films, like Why We Fight. Why We Fight was the biggest propaganda film, and it was made by, who the fuck made that one? It wasn't Wilder. It was, I can't remember. But it was one of the biggest World War II propagandists for the army. He made Why We Fight, and Why We Fight went into theaters, and it was total propaganda start to finish. And after that, the sentiment reversed to like 9 out of 10 were willing to go and fight in World War II. So, but not today. Like, no one's going to fall for our propaganda today because the propaganda hasn't changed in 100 fucking years.
Well, I thought the premise for a lot of people to join the military is just because they really weren't going to do shit else. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think once upon a time, the military was a great place for people without a direction.
Yeah.
Is that still the case?
Because you could go in there if you didn't die, in 30 years, you retire, you have all your benefits, you know what I'm saying? All that time, you got all that money tax free. So it's just like, that was the premise. Like, people, they were like, I really don't want to go to school. Well, fuck it, I'll just go to the military. And the military doesn't just have to be like you're in combat shooting people. You can go to the military and be a mechanic on the tanks or on the planes or something like that. So there's a whole bunch of jobs that you could do. But I know a lot of people would go into that because, like you said, it didn't have a direction. And so, but the people that they got going in now, so, some of them, I mean, they looking to go in there and get a sex change. I mean, it's just like, that shouldn't be happening.
I heard that they were getting rid of like drill sergeants in the Marines.
What?
That's what I heard.
Don't you need somebody to bust your ass? But that's the whole premise, isn't it? For somebody to go in there and bust your ass.
Yeah. They're supposed to take someone who's like flim flam, out of shape, no discipline, and like whip them into shape. And so.
Yeah. You see, that's the whole premise there. I don't know, man. Maybe we'll get back to some of that and cut out some of the riffraff.
And see, none of the people joining, I think, are willing to fight an existential fight. Whereas if you look at China or you look at Russia, their soldiers will fight you because their existence is on the line. They see what NATO's trying to do. They see the American encroachment, and so to them it's serious. To American fucking jerk off Gen X or Gen Zs, like, no way. They don't have the same feeling of patriotism. You know, they've been taught over the last decade, it seems, to not be patriotic, which is weird.
Yeah, actually say fuck America. I mean, that's what they've been taught to say.
Here's one of the things I kind of realized through my studies of Hitler and how the propaganda and the news machine in Hitler's Germany worked. Was like when the message needed to get out, Goebbels picked up a phone and every newspaper published an article. I mean, that's how it worked. And it was done to maintain a sense of national unity. And it worked. And I hate to say it, but propaganda like that works, or it did work at one time. We're propagandized today, but it doesn't seem to stick. And the propaganda isn't nearly as good. And also the playbook hasn't changed, so people are kind of immune to it. But it seems as though you need some sort of national cajoling, you know, some kind of, you need to have pride in where you're from and what you're doing and all that to have a strong society.
Well, yeah, but I see more people, you know, they're talking about, you know, since Trump got in, they're looking to see if they can get out of the country, which I say hurry up. I say hurry up, but yeah, there's not. But
this is literally the best it gets.
Yeah, the one person told me, it said, since Trump got in, he's getting out of U.S. and he's going to move to Hawaii.
That's the U.S.
That's what I know. That's what this ninja said. Now he's on the spectrum of the LGBTQ, but he was like, yeah, man, I'm gonna leave the U.S. and I'm gonna move to Hawaii. I said, nigga, that's one of the 50s. Oh my god, just never mind, man. Let him go. Set him out of here. But you still, I know it's an island, but it's still U.S. territory. But that's okay. You know what I'm saying? Let me finish these up. We got EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin. The ambassador.
I want to know if Lee Zeldin is related to Monk Zeldin. There was a lawyer connected to Jack Ruby named Monk Zeldin, and I'd love to find out that was his son.
Maybe. The ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee.
So Mike Huckabee is a Zionist. He loves Israel. He's going to kiss their ass. I don't know. Here's the deal. Israel needs to be destroyed. It needs to not be a country. And the land needs to be given back to the Palestinians. That's just a goddamn fact. All the motherfuckers.
Give them their land back.
You got to think, Israel has only been a country since 1948. So you've only got people being born there for 2 generations, right? The vast majority of people who live in fucking Israel were not born there. They're from other European countries. So the vast majority of fucking Israelis can just go back to their European country of origin. So.
Okay, that's fair enough. So we got, who else we got? Attorney for the Southern District of New York, Jay Clayton. I didn't know they needed that.
Well, the Southern District of New York has been the most problematic and troublesome kind of liberal judicial district. So I'm sure that's a good choice.
Okay, all right. So here's we got I think this is going to be brand new. Department of Government Efficiency, which is crazy as they're going to name it Doge, which is Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. It's going to be those guys. So they're going to, I guess they're going to see if they can cut some spending. Will that be the case? I don't know. But that's what the premise is there. So, well, I mean, Elon went to Twitter and started firing folks. You know what I'm saying? He had ninjas out there, damn, taking 2 hours to take naps, and they go to yoga, and they had lunch supplied for them. They were eating like filet mignon for lunch.
Okay,
on the company dime.
I want to call that something. That's rich communism. There should be a better name for it other than rich communism, but like that's what that is. That's what happens when communists are rich. They fucking get all the lunch and all that. Okay, because normally communists are dirt poor, but that's what happens when communists are fucking rich. As long as you conform to the culture, you can get free lunch and yoga.
Yeah, you get a yoga class in the middle of the day. You had I like these mental health days. I'm really enjoying. I
need
those.
One every day.
Yeah, mental health day. I'm like, damn pussies, come on now. Deputy Chief of Staff, we got Dan Scavino. All right. Let's see, Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy and Homeland Security Advisor Stephen Miller. We got Deputy Chief of Staff for Legislative, Political, and Public Affairs James Blair.
See, I'm surprised you didn't say Stephen Miller in the Justice Department, because Stephen Miller, he runs the America First legal organization that's been suing the fuck out of everybody.
Okay.
And so
you think he would have been better served there?
Yeah, but I don't know if he's a lawyer. I don't think he's a lawyer, so I think that's.
Okay, why. I got you. So that's probably why
he still could have done something. You know, he could have had a high level position there.
Okay. So we got Deputy Chief of Staff for Communications and Personnel Taylor Budowich. And then we got Presidential Personal Office Head Sergio Gore. So that is the people that he has nominated so far. And I see people talking about the swamp, draining the swamp, something about the swamp. I'm like, man, it's all swampy, okay? You know what I'm saying? Even when you own dry land, it's swampy. Just like we're going old school. You know, they said before the flood, you know, it didn't rain. You know, in the Bible, they say you just woke up and the ground was wet. Dew. That's how you got water. So it's just dew everywhere, all right? All the time, all right? I ain't talking about Mountain Dew either. It just is what it is as far as that goes. All I can say is, folks, to do the best they can. As long as inflation don't go up another 30%, then I think we'll be okay. I mean, that's going to be the main thing, because that'll really KO people. If inflation got out of control like it did back in, 2021, 2022, 23, it's going to look bad. Which I have heard some things about some potential movings in the housing market, that there might be a time for sellers in 2025 potentially. Okay. I said, of course, right now still ain't a good time, but around my area, they're throwing up a lot of townhouses. I don't know what they're putting up in your area. I know you said they were putting up apartment complexes.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of apartment complexes. Not really up here in Fort Collins, mostly down in Denver. There's a whole bunch, and I know there's a ton in Vegas still going up, and the market's just continuing to crash. The housing market is still in the process of a crash. They're never sudden. They usually take 3 to 5 years to bottom out, but that's where we're at right now. Rental price, I'll tell you this much: rental prices in Denver are down. When I left Denver last time in 2021, the cheapest apartment I could find was about $1,300 a month. Now you can get an apartment downtown for like $1,000, $1,100. So
okay.
Rental prices are significantly down in Vegas, significantly down, and we're going to see them go down even further.
Okay, and there might be. I've heard some rumblings about maybe an attack on the Airbnb market, potentially.
Well, the problem with the Airbnb market is that it's bottoming out.
Right.
And so all these a lot of people bought income properties to run as Airbnbs. And just like every bubble pops. And so that's what's happened with Airbnb. And plus a lot of places passed laws about Airbnb because they were disrupting neighborhoods. And so you have regulatory stuff. And so overall, that's just going to contribute to a continued downward slide of the housing market.
Well, the Airbnb, I've never personally stayed in the Airbnb because there's something off about it to me. I'm just going to be honest with you. But the key proponent, from what I understand early on, is that it was more affordable as far as staying in the Airbnb. You could get more people in one sitting as far as depending on the size of house you got. But now with the fees that they're putting in, cleaning fees, all that stuff, shit. I mean, it's costing more to stay there than in your regular hotel, resort, or whatever. So
one thing I'm kind of excited about for Trump coming in, and I know he doesn't have a direct effect on this, but an indirect effect is that I hope they get the inflation under control, supply chains back in line. And, I mean, I've seen prices come down in the grocery store, like literally come down. I remember on dog food, I went from paying like $1.69 a can to like $2.29, $2.39. And now they're back down to like $1.89 a can for the same thing.
Okay.
So prices did actually come down on some things. Same thing with eggs, price came down. So hopefully we see more of that and we get some more price stabilization in markets. And the auto industry.
Yeah, that's the main thing.
Another thing is you know about the auto industry, like charging 200 grand for a fucking truck. Like, what is wrong with people? So hopefully,
well, look, your base model Tahoe. I'm talking about your base is 65,000. Okay, that's your base model Tahoe.
Wait a minute, a Tahoe.
Yeah.
Who makes Tahoe? As GMC?
It's Chevrolet. Mm-hmm. Base model Silverado. It's about 45,000.
See, I don't understand that because like the base model Toyota Tacoma, which I've looked at recently because I'd like to get one, 35,000. Even the one that was the extended cab with all the pimped out options was only an extra 5. So
now the Tacomas are similar to in Chevrolet to a Colorado. So that's the price range that you'd be looking like on a Colorado. Of course, you could soup one out and it'd be around the 50 to 55 range. But if you go base on those, they're usually around the 35 range, 35 to 40.
That's still a lot of money for an average person to afford. I mean, that's a $500 a month payment if you buy it new with no money down, at least, plus your insurance of $200 there. That's $7 plus gas is $200. That's like $900 a month to drive. It's a lot of fucking money. That's a lot of money. Like most people can't afford that. So,
right.
Nobody can afford shit. 85% of the country lives paycheck to paycheck, which means we're broke, And so something got to change that, really.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, something's got to happen. But here's what I'll say about that. If something does happen, people have to be smart enough to not fuck it up. Let's just say that. Because we have a keen sense of overconsumption here in the U.S. So once we start making this amount of money, I need to move my lifestyle up to that. At any point in time, if some shit happens and you go like that, folks don't never want to go back down, and then you're fucked. So you know what I'm saying? So I think they always say if you get a substantial bump in income, you should wait. What's that? 6 months to a year before you do anything different. You know what I'm saying? Make sure everything stabilizes. So I'm an advocate, me personally, of living below the means, and it's just because when I'm ready to do shit, I don't have to think about anything. I just do it. So that comes with sacrifices though. And a lot of people don't want to live the way I live. You know what I'm saying? 1-bedroom apartment, got a little bitty car, don't really do much of shit. You know what I'm saying? Go on a trip every once in a while. Like most people don't want to live like that. Like they'd be like, man, it's boring. I was like, I mean, it's fine. I do a couple shows a week. You know what I'm saying? Watch some UFC. I mean, I feel good about it. I mean, but folks are not into the simple things. You know what I'm saying? So, that's the premise there. So yeah, that's Trump cabinet pick. Let us know if there's anybody up there that we missed that we should keep our eyes out on. I'm pretty sure there's gonna be people running their mouth about whoever he picks. All right, and it's mostly on the conservative side. If you want me to be honest, as far as the conservative talking heads, as far as the big names. Corey, I just want to talk to you quickly. We've got a fight coming up tomorrow. Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. Okay,
this is retarded,
and it's on Netflix.
Man, how am I going to pirate that?
Yeah,
I hope the pirates out there can get that shit figured out by tomorrow night.
Yeah, it's on Netflix now. I don't know if you got to. I don't know if you actually got to pay for it.
Mike Tyson
just got to have a Netflix.
Mike Tyson gonna fuck this guy up.
He's not though. Have you seen the size difference? Like they don't do weight class shit.
Mike Tyson's gonna fucking wreck this guy. Jake Paul's not a real fighter.
I know that, but Mike Tyson's 58 though.
He was the baddest man in the world when he was 18. I'm sure he's pretty tough still.
Yep. Jake Paul's like what is he like 27?
Bro, that motherfucker gonna go down in the first round.
Come on now. Hold on. Come on now. Now Tyson slapped him today when they did the weigh-in shit.
No way.
They did the face-off. Yeah, Tyson slapped him.
Oh, I didn't hear
I can't show it because it was on ESPN. They'll damn kick the whole damn. They'll kick your whole damn shit just because you showed the one little clip. But yeah, maybe I can pull up a picture of it. Tyson slaps Jake Paul. Yeah, he slapped him today at the weigh-in. Well, I guess it was a weigh-in. I don't know what they were doing. They were bullshitting. Because ain't no way they weigh the same amount. That's just all there is to it. Yeah, so here we go. Bam! Said he got him. There it is. Clean slap.
Tyson does look a little skinny, but I still think he's gonna take him in the first round.
You think? Oh, you think a first round?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
First round, a knockout,
or a technical knockout. He'll knock him down 3 times.
Okay. What is it? Is it just because of his extensive resume? That's why you believe that?
Yeah.
Even though he's 58.
Yeah.
Corey, I keep trying to tell you he's 58.
Yeah, it don't matter.
Jake Paul's 27.
So?
It's 31 years difference.
He got old man strength.
Is that what we're going to go with?
Yes.
Old man strength.
Mm-hmm.
Is that real?
Yes.
Oh, man. Hold on. Let me see if you can actually... I wonder if you can just buy this separately. Now, is this a smart move by Netflix? Do you think that they will get more subscribers at least for a month because of this particular fight? You think that's I'm assuming that's the angle they were going for.
What's the sales figures at? Do we know?
What for the fight? Well, I think you just got to have Netflix.
It was not a pay-per-view.
No, I don't believe so. Here we go. Let's pull this up. I got USA Today. Let's pull this up. Great news for life. It shows shoes because I buy basketball shoes all the time. Let's see here. Okay, what to know about it? Here we go. Just squaring off on Netflix. Let's see. Okay, so how to buy. Okay, fans looking to catch action. Need to buy a Netflix subscription. No additional cost. That's it. All you gotta do is have Netflix. Huh?
That's cool.
I'm wondering how they're paying for that shit then, because usually they do the pay-per-view.
When's that UFC?
Oh, it was this Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Jones and Miocic. Now, Dana White did say that because Jones was talking about, if I beat Miocic, then think about moving down and fighting Alex Pereira. And Dana White's like, no, I mean, if you beat Miocic, the next person you're fighting is Aspinall. So, which I don't think John Jones didn't want to fight Aspinall. John Jones will retire again because Aspinall's not a big enough name. The only reason he wanted to fight Miocic is because he was a big name, 2-time champion. So it's just adding to his resume.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the premise there. But yeah. Okay. Oh, it says okay, so bars and restaurants that purchase with DirecTV have been authorized to show the entire event. Okay. Okay, so yeah. Yeah, I guess as long as you have Netflix, you'll be able to watch it. It starts at 8. So I guess there's multiple people fighting. Which who else we got up here? I don't know none of these guys.
Mm-mm.
None of these guys look familiar. So yeah, so I'm guessing they're gonna make it because of the bars and stuff. I'm assuming that they'll be able to just buy. They got a specific package for them where they just buy the fight itself without Netflix. That's what it looks like. It says you can purchase with DirecTV. So yeah. If you got Netflix, then you can watch that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I do not like Jake Paul. I think it's kind of like a spit in the face to boxing, if you want to be honest.
Yeah, and his brother's kind of a scammer also. So
yeah, because there's people out there who like dedicate their whole life to this and they're out there like fighting real competition. So it's just like, if Jake Paul started fighting real competition, you know what I'm saying, actually legitimate boxers who are trying to move up the ranks, because it says he's a heavyweight. I'm like, Jake Paul's a heavy. I mean, I guess he is pretty heavy. Let's see, how much does Jake Paul weigh? Oh, wait. Okay. Let's see. What's weight? Okay. So 220 pounds. So 220. Is that heavyweight?
I believe it is.
Shit. Just seems a little thin in the pocket. Because if you go into the UFC at 220 pounds of heavyweight, you're gonna get dominated.
Yeah, for sure.
Them boys are, 265. So you talking about that 40 pounds of blubber or muscle? That's you're gonna be able to move somebody around on that. So I don't know. Somebody asked us about the Jake Paul fight. I'm like, man, damn Jake Paul. Okay. I'm probably gonna be doing something else during that fight.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie to you.
I just want to see Tyson knock him out in the first round. So
okay, you just want to see that clip. Well, if that happens, it'll definitely show the clip. It'll be all over X. It'll be the only thing you see on X for like a day and a half is Tyson knocking out Jake Paul, and so that'd be great. So we're gonna move over into our final segment, the Showtime with the Cube segment, as we close out one of the greatest comic book shows to ever come out, The Penguin. All right, episodes 7 and 8. Oh, you about to say something, Corey?
So, I was going to say episode 7. Honestly, for me, felt very filler-ish. It was like
it was filler.
It was very filler-ish. A lot of the flashback stuff. So, really, let's talk about the theme of what that episode was about. Episode 7. Overall, the theme is about you coming to realize that the relationship between Oz and his mother isn't what it seems.
Right.
That's the theme. So
right, because you see, during that episode, you see that Oz has actually had the hand in the deaths of his brother because he locked him in the sewer, and it rained that night. And it's kind of weird because that ends up being the place that he goes back to set up his operation, and he's totally and completely unfazed by it.
Yeah, and the mother she knows that that's what happened, and
we find that out in episode 8.
Right, and so what's the local gangster's name? What's that local gangster's name?
During that time, his name was Rex.
Rex. So Rex is the local gangster, and Oz keeps going around him, and he can tell that he's kind of gangster-ish as a young kid, and he basically tells Oz's mom, "Hey, you can either help nurture the kid and be a gangster, or you could take him out." I didn't think it was worth taking him out over. It's kind of extreme. But she seems to be willing to take him out, so she kind of sets Oz up and has him dress up in a nice suit, and they go out to this jazz club, and
now in episode 7, it makes it seem like they were going out on the town just to go out on the town.
Correct. You know just to go out on the town. They don't really fill you in on it. But then in episode 8, they fill in that backstory.
Yeah, because Jillian's actually the one who's manipulating her to go into her memories. I think Jillian's the Scarecrow in this universe.
Really? Oh,
I believe he's the Scarecrow.
Okay. You're talking about the guy who is the shrink who is with what's her face? Yeah, okay. He's from Sons of Anarchy. I've never really liked him as an actor. I'm not really feeling his part too much.
Yeah, so it says right up here that this is possibility. It says Dr. Julian Rush could be a new version of Dr. Jonathan Crane, also known as the Scarecrow.
Ooh, they haven't changed any names yet, have they? We haven't observed that. They've been true to the original. So
right. It said, from what we got up here, they're just going off their tactics. So both Dr. Rush and the Scarecrow use methods to make their enemies face their fears. For example, Dr. Rush uses a red light experimental treatment to make Sophia face her fears. The Scarecrow is known for using chemicals and toxins to make his enemies face their fears. So that's kind of what he was doing. He was making her go back in time and kind of relive that entire moment. And I guess she was just talking out loud during that time as if she was actually in that moment. And so we seen that entire thing. And once again, you see that Oz didn't enjoy being disrespected when he was a kid either.
Right.
Because when they went and they hid down, down deep in the sewer, knowing it was hard for him to get down there, then that just pissed him off. And he's just instinctually evil. Like that's just who he is. Like
But the problem is that you like the guy. You're on his side the whole show. Right. And so.
Yeah. In a world of bad people, you're on this bad guy's side.
You feel for him. You feel like his mom abused him or didn't care for him, and he had a rough life, and and you feel for him. You want the guy. He's the protagonist, right? So, but we're not gonna get to the twist. That we're gonna put that off till the end of the show. So episode 7 basically is a setup for episode 8, which is the big finale. Ultimately, and I thought it was a decent finale. It felt a little anticlimactic in certain ways. So you have Oz is captive in episode 7.
Yeah, Oz is captured. Oh yeah, and at the end of 7, because it wasn't 6 at the in 7, I believe it's where Sal goes down there and he tries to take over his operation and all that stuff as well, and dies during the process, has a heart attack, and then Sophia actually sends a car down because the Penguin Oz knows that he has or she has his mother captive. Okay.
Right.
And so when he's actually pulling back the covers in the back of the car, he's kind of like shell shocked because he thinks his mother underneath it is a bomb. And so they actually blow up his entire facility. Of course, he gets away. He jumps down. Oddly enough, he jumps down into the damn sewer well where he let his brothers die. He jumps down in there. And of course, it kind of destroys Crown Point. For the most part, as far as the middle part of the city, and then you see the actual detective knock Oz out and take him away. So that's kind of the premise, and a lot like you said, a lot of that's most of that particular show on episode 7 is the flashback from when Oz is a kid. You see that he has a connection with his mother where he doesn't want anybody else to have her attention. So he deeply loves his mother, almost to the point where it cost her life. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I think because he does something that I tell people to do all the time. I was like, man, when you caught in a lie more. Okay. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm taking my lie to the grave. And he's that dude. Because when he's caught, and you see at the beginning of episode 8, Sophia's got him tied up. And Sophia wants to torture him by making him relive what he did to his brothers while his mom is there. And so, even during that time, even when Sophia is about to cut his mother's pinky off, he's like, Ma, I didn't do it. They're lying to you, Ma. I'd never do something like that. It's your condition that's got you messed up. I said, damn, Ma. And at that point in time, Sophia realizes, like, this dude's just a flat out monster.
Mm-hmm.
Even to the point, because during this episode, you actually see the flashback to where Rex is actually in there talking to his mother. And that's when she asks Rex, is like, well, will you kill Oz for me? Of course, she didn't go through with it. You know what I'm saying? But you see that moment, and she relives that because she knows Oz actually committed the crime because he had that that yellow flashlight in his jacket. That's what gave him away. So she knows the entire time that he's the one that actually caused the death of her other children. And so she kind of lived with that demon. So she's kind of a monster herself. They're kind of peas in the same pod. You know what I'm saying? But at that point in time, she snaps. And even goes to the point where she stabs him in the gut with a broken bottle, which I thought was pretty damn intense.
That was wild. Yeah. That's crazy.
I think it actually surprised Sophia too.
She sat there and told him that she knew and that she hated his guts, and his whole world must have come crashing down,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and even throughout all that, still can't take her out. That's the one thing. That's the one thing that Oz can't do. And that's the one thing she asked him to do. If she got to the point to where, she's a complete vegetable. which is what she becomes.
Right.
It's like, hey, can you do it? And he says I can, but he can't. He can't do it. I don't know if that. I'm assuming that her being there because he made a promise to her, and so he feels like seeing how she's still there, even though she can't really enjoy any of it. That's kind of his fulfilling his promise and the prophecy of the penguin. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's the premise there. So what do you think about it? You think that's the reason why he can't actually go through it as far as with his mother when he can go through with pretty much anybody else?
No, I don't know. At this point, I think it's more like a fuck you.
Oh, okay.
So.
Oh, so
or maybe not. It could be.
It's more like to hell with you, Ma.
It could be, but it could be delusion because. And I'm going to skip to the scene at the end of 8.
That's fine.
When she's in the bed and he goes, "Look, Ma, I got you the view you always wanted," and a tear rolls down her face.
And
he goes, "I know it's overwhelming," or it's something along those lines. Like, but she wasn't. That tear didn't fall for that reason. And so,
right.
The question is, did he know that, and was he being a dick, or was he living in a delusion? That's
right.
That's the question.
Now, somehow, when Sophia has Oz captured, he manages to escape. I mean, he's a slippery bastard. You know what I'm saying? He managed to escape, managed to take his mom with him. His mom had a stroke. Okay. She had a stroke right there after she stabbed him in the gut with the bottle. And he gets away. And when he gets away, he manages to link back up with Victor. And he actually gets a audience with one of the council members. And some people were saying that I seen on a couple videos that was touting the Court of Owls because the chairs were in owl shapes. So they were thinking that that's going to be something that's going to be in the future.
So let me talk about the Court of Owls for a second. Okay. The Court of Owls, if I'm not mistaken, the first appearance of the Court of Owls is in the New 52 reboot from about 10 years ago or more. And the Court of Owls is like the organization that keeps watch over Gotham. And it's like the Gotham Illuminati is basically what the Court of Owls is. And it turns out they're behind all kinds of stuff that Batman was, fighting against. I believe they teased the Court of Owls a little bit in the movie with Robert Pattinson. If I'm not mistaken, I believe they teased it a tiny bit, but didn't really go there. And so the Court of Owls, when I have those comics. And when I read those comics, I have the first 6 of that series. The Court of Owls was like the coolest Batman shit that I'd ever seen. So hopefully the series will explore that, or the movie will explore that, because it's too good of content for them to not.
Right. And during that time, Oz actually gets the councilman's ear and, kind of offers him something. He's like, hey, I'm going to offer you Sophia on the platter. She killed Sal. She destroyed Crown Point. She killed her folks. I'm going to offer you all that on a platter. And that'd be real nice to show that you're cleaning up Gotham so you can move your way up the ranks. So once again, slick son bitch, okay? I mean, he's a slick motherfucker. It's like, yeah, you're going to go down there, you're going to find Sal's body, which you do. I mean, it's going to be down there. So it's just that whole premise and that whole setup. And, anytime you got people in these positions, they're always trying to move up as far as power goes. So that kind of speaks back to what we talk about even today as far as the corruption within the ranks, as far as people who run different agencies. This is, councilmen of Gotham, and you just see how corrupt they are and how they're trying to move up and enhance their position. And they'll do it messing with people that they know are filthy. Okay. Filthy animals. Okay. Crooked animals. All right. So Sophia actually puts a bounty on Oz's head. Victor goes back and sees that Crown Point's been destroyed. He said, hey, we got to go out there and find him. They're like, oh, we ain't here for Oz. We're here for his drugs. And there ain't no more drugs, so fuck Oz. You know what I'm saying? And Victor has an emboldened speech. Looks like he might get handled right then. My man Link punches him in the gut. It's just like, hey, man, just shut the fuck up, okay? He's like, man, they're going to shoot your ass if you don't shut up. It's pretty much just.
It seemed like he did that to save him. Like,
yeah, he did. Yeah, that was the whole premise there. Yeah, he did that to save him. And so Sophia puts the bounty on his head, and she lets the people know, it's like, hey, you see this whole mansion? You can have it. You can have the drug game. You can have Gotham. Whoever finds Oz and brings him to me, you won. You get it. You get all of it. I'm rolling out afterwards. Okay. Now, I thought it was pretty funny because at that point in time, my girlfriend's like, yeah, she's going to probably destroy the house. I'm like, what? And I'll be damned if she didn't go and burn it down. Pours alcohol over the place and burns it down. Now, during the time where Oz is captured by Link, after he goes and talks to the councilman, and Sophia's meeting up with Link and with his boss and some of the other people as far as that organization, saying, hey, congratulations, you won. But then we see a turn of events where Victor has set up with Link and the others to actually take out their bosses because they haven't been treating them right this whole time. So we see like a role reversal where all of the made men get taken out in unison of all these different organizations, all these gangs. And so I wasn't expecting that.
That seemed like
I was like, how is he going to get out of this? So I wasn't expecting that. What'd you think about that particular moment?
Well, they all got taken out by that bomb, right?
No, no, that was Oz. That was Oz's place,
right? But
Crown Point got taken it by.
Right, but all of the gang guys were down there with him.
No. Yeah, I'm talking about the other people that he was going to form his coalition with, the other gangs. So
right. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So you see them like they're like second in command, assassinate the first in command.
Right.
Because that was the first thing. The Link shoots his boss in the head, and then it kind of goes throughout. You see the white guy get choked out with the wire. The one woman got beat to death with a helmet. I said, damn, cuz. I mean, the black guy just got shot. I was like, man, he got it easy. The first two got it easy. One got shot in the head, instant dead. The other guy got shot. But the choked out and then the one get beat to death with the helmet, you felt that for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So you see that, and Oz is like, "Bo, that was brilliant. That was brilliant, Victor." It's like I didn't think you had that in you, to set something like that up. And so he actually takes Sophia on a ride. Sophia believes this is going to be her last ride, okay? Because she thinks that Oz is going to take her out there and shoot her. And right when he takes her by the water, and he's got the gun up to her head, helicopters come because Oz knows that I'm going to give you something that's worse than death. That's you going back to Arkham Asylum. Because he's a bastard. That's why. Because he's a damn bastard. And he's slick. And he's sly. And he's cunning. And then we get to the last moment of this show. Okay. Now, this scene stuck with me. Corey, I ain't going to lie to you. This scene with Victor and Oz right there near the end of the show, that shit stuck with me. Okay. It's one of those scenes that's like it kept replaying in my head. I'm like, holy fucking shit. Like
I was like, my jaw was kind of hanging open. And the final scene, basically, he kills Victor. And we're like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Now, do you know he wasn't going to kill Victor? That's not what he was going to do. I believe they were going to sit there and they were going to drink. Here's why he killed Victor. Because of one word that Victor said. Family. The minute he said that, Oz's whole expression changed. That was it. He wasn't going to kill Victor. I don't believe he was. But the minute he said, you're, because of course he stutters, you're almost like family. And then Oz is like, he just like starts looking down, is like, because in his mind, he's like, oh, holy shit, I do have a connection with this kid. And people can use that against me. And that's what he tells him. He said, "Man, I can't have weaknesses like that."
But I think they had to have him do something. They had to have him do that because you got to like the fucking guy, and you're not supposed to like him.
Right.
They had you like him enough to watch.
So they put that in there. Yeah, they put that in there. It was intentional to put that in there. But I believe, like, in real time, Oz wasn't gonna kill him until he said we're like family. Right. And then Oz was like, I can't have no fucking family where I'm trying to go. And that was the premise, because the whole time he's choking him, you almost kind of see Oz tear up a little bit.
Yeah, it did.
Like his spread, like even though he's choking, he knows he's killing. Oz is like tearing up because he knows he actually has a connection with the kid. You know what I'm saying? He actually likes the kid, but he can't have that hanging over his head where somebody can use that against him in the future.
Yeah,
you know, and so it's a very, because he didn't have the gun or nothing with him. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have a blade just to stab him. I mean, this is literally bare hands. This is spur of the moment.
And so ultimately, when you look back at this, at the 8 episodes in the series, and you kind of put together the theme of it is getting to know Oswald and who he is. It's obviously set up for a future movie or something.
Mm-hmm.
And they did a great job of pulling you in, getting you really interested in the character, wanting to know more about the character. And then at the end of the show, you really come to, you get your final lesson in who this guy really is. And that was
a villain, straight villain. I ain't gonna lie to you. You sitting there and you're like, oh damn, boy, I was gonna pull this off. Oh, okay. Oh yeah, that's good. That's good. And then when he kills Victor, you like, Batman, come kick his ass. You know what I'm saying?
And one thing I gotta say is, what was the very last thing that happened in the show?
Bat symbol.
The bat signal came up in the air.
Bat signals for something else though happening. I don't think it has anything to do with the penguin.
Correct. It was just for ominous foretelling.
Oh, and somebody, I missed this. I probably need to go back and look at it. But somebody said that there was an actual photo out saying, "Have you seen this person?" And it was Victor. So the question is, if that's the case, I need to go back and look at it. But I've seen multiple people say that. If that's the case, who came and got his body? Is he actually dead?
I would say yes. I would say they had to do that to portray.
That's some question there. Now, some people were saying that could potentially set up a future villain. Was it in the comments? It was Victor Assaz, and I think, if I'm correct, whenever he would he was going to kill himself, but then, okay, in the comics, this is what somebody said. He was going to kill himself, but then somebody tried to rob him and he got stabbed, but he ended up killing the person. And then from there, he kind of just went on a serial killer murderous spree, and he would mark into his face every time he killed somebody. So is that the case? I don't know. But it's almost seeming like the body was missing, even though we know it was just sitting there laying in the grass. You know, of course, he got rid of his license. He took the money out of his wallet to make it seem like, you know, somebody robbed him. But it's almost making it seem like, you know, potentially the body was never found. So that could be something interesting down the line. If that is true, I would much rather it be that he actually just died. Than potential of him coming back, unless they're going to do something badass with it.
Yeah, I don't want that to happen, because you needed him to die to set the character for Oz. So I think it's pretty cut and dry.
Right. So it's crazy because, you know, what Marvel has tried to do is try to make all their villains anti-heroes. But in this, they just made him just the evil motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Which really sets the tone for your villain. You know, I mean, was it Neurotic said, this is how you do a villain arc. Like, this is it. Like, this is the way. And, you know, usually it is up to DC is more willing to get more into the darker side of things.
Always.
Than Marvel has been. So, So yeah, but this show was absolutely incredible. You know what I'm saying?
It was good.
I mean,
I would say I feel like the show was it was gangbusters the first couple episodes because we hadn't seen anything like it.
Right.
But I feel like by the time we got to the end of the show, we were acclimated to the type of show that it is. And I feel like the last couple episodes were a little anticlimactic, but I really can't put my finger on why.
It's probably because everybody was dead. Like all your, like, it was just really, Sophia had like 2 dudes left. You know what I'm saying? I mean, she had like 2 dudes left. That was it. And they got shot at the airport. But it still does not beat that scene with him choking Victor. Like, but I had dreams of that shit. That shit was in my mind, dude. Like, I've watched a shit ton of movies. I ain't had no scene stick like that with me, like the way that did. Straight up, man. I was like, this is a fucking masterpiece of a scene to make you want to go find Batman so he can beat his nose into his brain. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like at that moment in time, you're like, damn it, somebody get Batman here right now. That's the way you feel. So he can handle the Penguin. Fuck the Penguin. Sorry, son of a bitch. Even though Victor's a villain. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's technically a villain, but you felt for him because he was like he found his purpose in the world. And the whole time that damn Oz is choking him out, he's like, you're a good man, Vic. You did the right things. I know it don't seem like it right now, but it wasn't all for nothing. I was just like, man, this shit is evil, man. Even the speech while he's choking him out. I mean, Victor saying, please, Oz, don't do it.
He's killing him as he's apologizing to him for killing him.
I mean, that's, but I ain't seen no scene like that in a hot minute. I'd have to go back and watch some older movies that maybe had some times where a betrayal or whatever, but I've just seen betrayal where, you know, folks are going up and all of a sudden the man stabs you in the back or nothing. Not while you sitting there having a drink, hugging the man. Hey, man, we did it. We made it to the finish line, and he chokes you out. I mean, he didn't even use a weapon. It was bare hands. That's what made it intimate, is that it was bare hands. Won't no knife on a gun. It was just me, you, and my hands. You know what I'm saying? What's the saying? Blood on your hands. That's what it was. So I mean that. Man, what a hell of an ending. What a hell of an ending. And of course, you see him in his classic penguin suit at the end. He's made it. He's got the penthouse, and he has the girl come back and dress up as his mother from years ago when he was a child, and kind of says, "Hey, I'm proud of you" and all that. So he's reliving that moment, which is the delusion you were talking about. The delusion, yeah.
He needs that influence in his life. He needs that woman, mother figure, to keep telling him he's a good boy and stuff. So
yeah. So that's the delusion that you were speaking about.
If I'm not mistaken, there was like in the if I'm not mistaken, in the Batman movie that had Penguin with Danny DeVito, his mother was in that also, played by Gilda. Yeah, played by. Well, that wasn't Gilda Radner, was it?
Okay.
I forget who she. I forget.
It's been a while since I watched that one.
Yeah, and those movies were crap. But it's good that they're sticking somewhat to the original themes.
Yeah. So, how many cubes? How many cubes out of 10?
I'm gonna give it 8. 8.5.
I'm with you.
8.5.
I'm with you.
I'd go higher, but I don't know. My feeling of it petering out towards the last couple episodes kind of diminished a little bit. But that might just have been my expectations were too high or something. So still 8.5.
Well, a lot of times you see shows end on a big final battle, and this didn't do that.
Right.
Because, like I said, so hell, Sophia had killed her whole family, about guards and all. I mean, she took them out. Salvatore, he didn't have but a few folks left. They got blown up. And then the other people, they were kind of inconsequential overall into the whole premise of the Penguin, but they killed all their bosses. So there wasn't much of a big battle. This thing wasn't like a big shootout, like the movie Heat. You know that movie with Al Pacino, Robert De Niro. Yeah, that movie Heat, where you have all those shootouts and things like that. There's a scene in that sticks with me too. When the dude that the guy that betrayed him, that was part of their squad, he had Robert De Niro actually lets the guy go, and he finds him later on. He finds him in a hotel, hits him in the nose twice with the butt of the gun, and the dude's looking down. He said, "Look at me, fucking look at me," and he puts about 4 rounds in his chest. There's certain scenes in movies that just stick with you. You know what I'm saying? Over time. So, but guys, if you have not seen the Penguin, then we spoiled all over it for you. So I don't know what the hell you've been doing. Look, man, we've been telling y'all to watch the Penguin. Okay. So give it about 3 weeks. Let the Christmas spirit come about you, and then go watch the Penguin. So that way, maybe you forget some of the things that we've said. Great villain arc. I'd like to see more of this if they could do it. You know what I'm saying? If they could do it, I think this type of approach could actually help resurrect some things in Marvel as well. But they're not going to get that dark. They don't have it in them. I don't think. They have to have a changing of the guard or whatever. Yeah. And I don't know if the DCU itself would have it in it, seeing how this is not part of the DCU, the James Gunn universe. This is just Matt Reeves' universe. So I don't know. We'll have to see what the DCU looks like when they drop their new Superman film this next summer. If I'm correct, I believe it's coming out next summer. So we'll have to see what kind of theme. I got a feeling it's going to be lighter in theme. It's not going to be as gritty as this is. Probably because they're going to want to keep the universe separate anyway. This is still DC property, but I think they're just labeling it as Elseworld. That's what they're labeling this as, that's what they're labeling the Joker series with a Joaquin Phoenix as well as the Elseworld universe. Still DC property though. So is that going? Could that hinder? This is a question for you. Could this iteration of the Batman hinder the reception for the DCU Batman?
Yeah, 100%.
Especially depending on who he picks.
Yeah, the fuck they're doing. Obviously, this series is working. People are liking it. They should only have one at a time going.
Right. And you know what's bad? It's almost like, damn, I should have just ran with this as the fucking DCU.
Probably.
Yeah, because now James Gunn is under the gun. Like after the Batman and the Penguin, whew, but you're gonna have to hit home runs, dog. You know what I'm saying? Because it's gonna be compare and contrast.
Honestly, I think I like the Penguin better than I like the Batman movie.
Okay.
I totally
the Batman movie was a slow burn. It was a longer film. But I still thought it was a good one. I still thought it was good.
It was good. It just didn't have the impact of like Christian Bale's Batman stuff.
Right, but that's Christopher Nolan. That's he can bring some stuff to life. He did the Oppenheimer too, didn't he? Yes. If I'm correct. Yeah, I think so he has a particular style. And of course we all know the Dark Knight Rises great but that was the second one, right? Wasn't it the Dark Knight Rises? Yeah, with the Joker, of course. That might go down as the best Batman movie ever made.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's going to be hard to touch that one. Just with the performance of Heath Ledger and Christian Bale in that. I mean, of everybody, actually. You know, the entirety. There were stakes. Was it the woman got blown up in that one? What's her name? I don't want to say Lois Lane. This damn Superman. What's Batman's side piece? What was her name? Hold on a second. Golly. She was played by somebody that was famous. Hold on. Dark Knight Rises. Here we go. Oh, it's just the Dark Knight. Oh, I'm sorry. Not the Dark Knight Rises. So let's see. What was it?
The lawyer chick.
Okay. Oh yeah. Maggie Gyllenhaal is Rachel. Yeah, she got blown up. That was like Batman's like love interest.
Right.
Joker blows her ass up. So like, man, everything was in that movie. Damn. Was it? You had, of course, Gary Oldman was Commissioner Gordon, and then Harvey Dent. He gets half his face burned up, and then he kind of goes on his spree like that. That movie had it all on that. So I mean, for them to try to replicate something like that, it's going to be extremely difficult. Now, in 20, 30 years, people will have forgotten about that movie because that'll be for us old fogies. You know what I'm saying? So whatever young crowd be coming up, they might be seeing whatever the new Batman is that James Gunn's going to do. They might say that's the heat. I mean, we don't know. Because some of that stuff is generational. But for me, I believe that will be the GOAT Batman movie of all time. And I don't think it's gonna be close. I didn't particularly I wasn't particularly interested in the Bane one, the one with Bane. That was the third one.
It was okay.
Yeah, well, the first two were better.
Yeah,
the one with Liam Neeson and then the one with Heath Ledger's Joker. Because Liam Neeson was Ra's al Ghul, if I'm correct, in the first one. So I thought those were better. The one with Bane, it just, I don't know. Maybe it's because Bane was corny. That might have been it. Okay, that Bane was a little corny. So high rating for the Penguin, guys. Go check it out. We appreciate everybody for checking us out tonight on this mashup of Showtime with the Cube and Beyond the Cube. Showtime with the Cube will be on hiatus for a little bit. We've got some holiday stuff coming up, but we will have episodes of Beyond the Cube each week for the next 2 weeks. We'll have it early in the week, so we will be bringing y'all that. When we come back, Corey, I want us to try to finish up Rings of Power. So finish watching that. We watch the first half. We'll do the second half, and then after we bring that to you, we will start talking about the first few episodes of Doom Prophecy as well in those following weeks, because that does begin this Sunday. Doom Prophecy does. So we'll be checking that out. This is going to be all about the Bene Gesserit and their rise to power and their manipulation of the houses throughout the centuries. So that'd be interesting. Did the books ever harken on that, Corey, about the Bene Gesserit as far as them in particular?
Sorta. There's the Sun wrote a series of books on the Bene Gesserit, but it's kind of like a side series. It's not in the main series.
Okay. So this is what it's going to be. So this is going to be however many years before what we've seen right here recently with the past two Doom movies. So it'll be interesting to see how they go with that. If HBO keeps it going as far as giving us good content, which usually HBO does. So make sure you're on the lookout for that. We'll be back with y'all next week with another episode Beyond the Cube next Tuesday. So from your boy HQ420, the powerful one Corey Hughes, we'll catch y'all on the next Beyond the Cube and Showtime with the Cube.